time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and more than 15 podcast platforms. We also invite you into the studio each week via YouTube. Subscribe and watch each episode on our YouTube channel at Turner O'Neill Podcast. Thanks to our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness, and Justin O'Neill. Take a TO with Coach Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by me, DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 16 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I'm Kurtis Cross, your host, and with me as always is Coach Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Our engineer is DJ Krissy. Together, we welcome you into the studio for this week's podcast. Our premier partner for Season 2 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray is a friend of the program, and he's the only mortgage lender we endorse right here at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ray Cruz is Mortgage Intelligently. We'd like to thank our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and the Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. This week, we are back in the studio after TNO, the home edition, and 1 week off. We are back in the studio and ready to deliver one heck of an episode. This is episode 16. We're going to get into this podcast, but first, gentlemen, it's been a couple of weeks, and now here we are. Coach O'Neill, how was the mini break?
Well, mini break was, I missed everybody. I missed the team. I missed the crew.
You old sap.
But I've been busy.
You have been?
I've been busy. We are live and in color with the season going on. We've had a few scrimmages since the mini break. We've had a lot of practices, very stacked into this first 2 weeks. A lot of moving, shaking, and we had our first game. We got our first win.
I was going to say, over the weekend, something happened. Something might have happened out in Virginia on Friday. Talk to me.
We got a win.
Okay.
And in respect to our opponent.
We'll keep the score under wraps.
Yeah, we look, I was proud. I told you guys I will believe it when I see it way back when.
Right.
And we got to that point. We suited up. It was real. Shot clock was on. It wasn't like the scrimmages we found. And that's the weird thing is we were in a couple of those scrimmages, Landon, Calvert Hall, St. Mary's. I mean, those were made within a couple days. Some of them the night before. I mean,
right.
That's just how this sort of COVID season is going.
Okay.
So the mini break, while I missed you guys, I was locked in, dived in with my coaches, moving all over the DMV with our players, and here we go.
You didn't have time to miss us. You were busy.
We were busy.
From field to field, practice to practice, equipment, inventory, film, huddle, all that, right?
You know, so many different things, trying to evaluate, put this team together, get our football kids. It's a lot. I don't want to bore y'all. We'll talk about it later.
All right. Coach Turner, you came in hot tonight. You've been on the road.
Yeah.
There's a young man that had some games going on. Tell me how that went, sir.
I'm not talking about it.
Okay, he's not talking about it. So talk about something else.
I mean, decent weekend. Decent couple weeks. A lot of games being played. Still trying to figure this club sports stuff out.
Okay.
And excited to be back in here. Like, ready to
Mental health.
be back with the crew.
Not Monday, but a
Mental health
studio.
Sunday.
Mental health studio.
There you go. Mental health studio.
And
That's it.
just excited to chat it up a little bit with you guys.
How about you? How you been?
Everything is excellent. My lawn looks good. That's what I love. My son had a birthday.
Let's go.
He is 11.
Happy birthday, Adam.
we had a movie theater mini birthday party for him. So he got to invite 3 friends. My mother-in-law was there, me, Paula Krissy, and our daughter got to bring 1 friend. I'm excited because we're getting good rain and good sun, and I'm a lawn guy, so that's the nerdy side of me. And other than that, business has been, people are having a lot of confidence in booking gigs again.
That's awesome. I love to hear that for you.
Speaking of the lawn, pulled up. It's dark out. It's a little bit later tonight. I mean, it was green. I could see the green.
I take my pride in that. I do. We're forgetting about one person, DJ Krissy. We haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. What's going on with you?
You know, it was weird. It was so weird last week. It was silent on Monday.
Uh-oh.
Were you sad? Were you sad?
I was sad. I didn't know what to do.
Zoom screen or not, or computer screen. Just sad.
It was so sad. There was no mental health Monday last week. I mean, it's Sunday this week, but that's okay.
We're back.
We're still here.
Any hikes?
I have been. Different area. I keep going down to Beach Drive just because it's so close.
Yeah.
But I keep finding different little paths and cuts, and they all link up somewhere. So I went down one, but wound up on one that I did like last week.
Okay.
It was weird. It was a roundabout kind of thing. Happy for Casey. Finally, Coach.
I told him
we finally got out there.
Yeah.
We finally got after it, and so I appreciate that happiness.
That's exciting.
Krissy. That means a lot. I'm happy.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so that was your past couple of weeks. We, of course, saw you on a screen on when we did TNO from home, but not last week.
Yeah, well, I've started doing a lot more walks, so not just the weekend. I'm trying to do it during the week, too. So
Good for you.
But it got cold.
It did.
Like, there was a few days where it was
happened.
uncomfortable. So those walks wouldn't have been as fun when it's that cold.
It's not.
All right.
But I'd rather that than like 90.
Right. She doesn't like the heat. She'll take the cold.
I'm with you.
I'd rather wear a sweatshirt.
I'm totally with you there. I cannot stand those July, August days.
I would be remiss if I didn't say we are now on the clock because Chelsea will be a teenager in June. I'm sure there'll be an episode where I talk about that, where you remember when Jared and Christian turned teenagers and when Cole turned teenager. You're behind me, or is your oldest daughter?
Chloe is, so she'll be a teenager next December.
Okay, so Chelsea's hitting it first.
She is.
All right, so we're going to do this together, brother. All right. Let's hit our first break, and we will be back with this week's headline.
O'Neill Development is a custom builder in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore. Recognized nationally as a premier builder, O'Neill Development has received awards for historic restoration and urban infill work. Committed to best practices in green building, O'Neill Development also provides support in budgeting, architect selection, and design development during the critical stages of planning. O'Neill Development, building, remodeling, and development since 1975. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310. Since 1939, the Collins family has served families of Montgomery County and Greater Washington with dignified professional service in their time of need. We continue the same family tradition today at our funeral home located just off the Beltway in Silver Spring, Maryland. Our family of experienced funeral directors stand ready to assist you around the clock, 365 days a year. Whether you wish to pre-plan or you have experienced a loss, please contact us to discuss how we can assist you at your time of need. Call 301-593-9500 or visit collinsfuneralhome.com.
Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill can be found on more than 15 podcast platforms. Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word. Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill records weekly with episode drops each Thursday at 11 a.m.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. One Headline is brought to you by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. This week's headline: from time to time, we bring content to the podcast that is not sports related, but you know what? We got to talk about it. The historical court trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was deliberated by the jury this week, and a verdict of guilty on all 3 counts against him in the case involving the murder of George Floyd is in. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
This has to be used at this point, and I wrote some things down, for good.
Okay.
For good. And especially used as a moment to teach our youth. I've said this a lot. We've had these conversations. The young folks and everybody in this country have been hurting big time. And we have to use little wins like this in the right direction to teach our young folks that we're not going to let hate win. And the next generation, the young folks can continue to let peace and hope be around our communities and our world. And so my number one, when I see this verdict, I was very thankful. Number 2, it has to be talked about with our youth, and it has to be shared with our youth, because the next generation, we can't continue to go through things like this. We just can't. And that's just how I feel.
Coach Turner.
Certainly happy with the verdict, because it was long overdue.
Right.
And I agree with you, Casey. We do have to keep talking about it, as I've said before. I think it's gotten silenced again. Once we get back to like normalcy and things start moving in the world, it seems like the things that really need to be talked about get left behind. And I'm seeing that with a lot of things that went on while we were stuck in the house during the pandemic. I hope and pray, again, as I'll keep saying, to the day that I die, that our children will get to see a different world than the one that we lived in, with some different laws and rules being changed to benefit them and the people that are surrounded by them, friends, family, and others indifferent. I just don't know when it'll all stop. I mean, as we see, there's still things happening daily, and these people who are in position of power to make changes in the laws have got to wake up and I'm just going to say it frankly, stop being racist, because they are. There are people who are sitting in powerful positions in this world who are racist, and they don't want to make changes because they don't care. And so until some of that stuff gets taken away from people who are in power, I'm afraid that we're going to keep seeing history repeat itself. And that's the part that I'm scared of for my own children.
I was nervous before the verdict because we've been here before and we were surprised before, but we're conditioned now not to be surprised. Shortly before the verdict, I said, I think the blue line gets broken today. I was glad it was. I cried. Made sure that my daughter was watching with us. She had a play rehearsal. I'm like, if you're late, just tell them why you were late. They ended up canceling play rehearsal. And happy with the verdict. And since that time, in the past several days, a new case has been opened up against Chauvin for something he did in 2017 for an extended period of time, longer than that 9 minutes and some change, where he did the same thing.
Wow.
So you can Google that, you'll see it. And Chauvin, they did not allow that to be entered into this trial, but there's going to be a new investigation where he has done this before for, I think it was 17 minutes. You can Google that and you'll see it. We live in a world where we can't be proud of everything we see. Maybe this is a small step, but I agree with both of you guys. And unfortunately, the set of eyes that I look at this through, we're kind of we're weathered to having seen this before. So anyway, that is our one headline. Krissy, please take us to break. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our friends of the program: Shane Benson, Todd Bradley, Paula Cross, Susan and Brendan O'Neill Sr., Daniel Richard, Noah Richard, Andrea Terrones. If you would like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend.
Gene the Barber has been in the business of making you look good for more than 20 years. Kids cuts, adult cuts, men and women, Gene has the experience and style you're looking for. Contact Gene the Barber for an appointment by calling him direct, 240-687-7253. Our producer uses Gene the Barber and he's available for your next barbershop visit as well. Call 240-687-7253 and tell him Turner and O'Neill sent you.
A Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audiovisual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your style seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
The Starting Five is brought to you by
Healthy Baller is dedicated to developing athletes at any level through customized programs created by our world-class trainers. Healthy Baller creates an unparalleled training experience centered around the athlete and coach relationship. Between our physical therapy team and strength and conditioning staff, we create an all-encompassing process to help injured athletes return to the field. Become your own success story. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
The Starting Five. Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. I'm your host, Kurtis Cross, and I'm with Coach Steve Turner, Coach Casey O'Neill, and of course, our engineer is DJ Krissy. We're up to our weekly Starting Five. 5 questions asked of each coach. One of them almost got to see the questions. I gave them the wrong copy of the script, but now they've never heard these questions, and they each have 30 seconds to answer these questions. If they go over their 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, what will happen? And I failed to mention I do have Lakers tickets this week. I will be going to Capital One Arena. We had to buy 2 and 2. They're in like 3 sections apart. But me, Paul, and the kids will be going to see the Lake Show this week.
Congrats.
I got to rewind real quick. So
Please.
Now I get it. You're usually pretty good at the Starting Five.
Wow.
Just coming off.
Are you going conspiracy on me?
I've never.
You think he's got the advanced copy?
I have never gotten the sheet.
I don't know.
Don't check his email.
Do I need to bring every copy of every show that
I'm not fact checking or going through your stuff.
Whatever. You think there's a conspiracy? I'm starting off with you. We've talked about your sports Mount Rushmore. So now I want you to build your historical Mount Rushmore. 4 figures in American history that you would put on Mount Rushmore.
In any history.
Anything. Besides us 4 right here.
Wow. Can it be other like presidents or anything?
Whatever you want, it's your Mount Rushmore, and it's your 30 seconds.
Oh man, this is going fast.
Does the time start when you finish asking the question, or
Yes.
I'm gonna first and foremost. Roy Rogers is the first one going right up there.
All right,
big Roy Rogers.
Buckaroo, baby.
Big Roy Rogers. I'm just teasing. I'm gonna you ding me. I'm gonna go to Steve real quick.
Different question.
Deferring.
No, you have the same question.
I have the same question?
Yeah, you have the same first 4, and then you rapid fire later. So, Steve, I'll ask the question. It starts after I finish the question, Krissy.
What if there's a follow-up question?
We've talked about your sports Mount Rushmore. So now I want you to build your historical Mount Rushmore. I got 2 of them for you already, but go ahead. Dr. King and Obama.
I was going to say Dr. King, but
It's not your 30 seconds, sir.
Those are definitely first 2.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali
Ooh.
and his stance. And can you give me a countdown, Krissy?
3.
Oh, damn.
2,
Go ahead and ding me.
all right.
Hold up. I'm going to give you the 4th. Rosa Parks.
Okay, I was going to go a different direction. Okay, so Rosa Parks, MLK, Obama, Muhammad Ali. Love it. Sir.
So the way my brain works, it's very scatterbrained, as you guys have known over the first 2 seasons. But I'm gonna go with Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Jackie Robinson popped into my head.
Right.
Got to go there. Joe Gibbs. I love me
Oh,
some Joe
yeah.
Gibbs.
All right.
You know what? My dad. I want my dad up there.
Put your dad up there. Big bust of your dad.
That is my hero.
That's your Mount Rushmore. Coming back to you right here to my right. One thing you could not have made it through quarantine without.
Family.
You, sir. You're up.
Netflix.
All right. See,
And
you didn't even
alcohol.
use it. Does he get the balance of that time on the next question? All right. Coming to you, sir.
Or Tito's.
A personality trait that someone could have that would instantly turn you off. Like you know you don't party with them because of this trait you saw.
There's a lot. Selfish.
All right. Coming to you. Personality trait that someone can have that would instantly turn you off.
Dishonesty.
All right. Coming back to you. Most impactful position in your starting rotation on your team, you feel like, for a basketball team.
The head of the ship, point guard.
All right. For you, you got more players to choose from. Most impactful position in your starting rotation.
You know, I was going to go with goalie, but you can put 3 defensive guys around that goalie. So I'm going to go with that horse at our midfield, the one that just doesn't leave the field.
All right.
Midfield.
Now, we are on rapid fire fashion. Your 5 questions begin now. Live without heat and AC or live without ESPN?
Without
The fact
without
that you're
without
pausing
ESPN.
right now.
Damn it. Yeah, without ESPN. I got to have the AC.
Favorite item you've purchased in the past year?
Erica purchased it, but the air fryer.
All right. Forget the dog, huh? Okay.
Oh,
as a kid,
shoot,
as
man.
a kid,
we got a new
what were
car
you-
too. I mean,
No. As a kid, what were you extremely proud of?
I was extremely proud of just being a competitor, being an athlete. I was very proud of that. I loved playing sports. I was very proud to be just on teams.
Name one of your biggest phobias.
Lights left on.
All right. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Coach Turner, Olympic gold medalist or an astronaut?
For me,
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist.
The one food or product that you are particular about brand-wise. Like for me, it has to be the original Pop-Tarts. I can't do no store brand Pop-Tarts. It's got to be the original Pop-Tarts. So for you, what are you like a brand snob about? One thing.
Mayonnaise.
All right. You can add one person, any person to your coaching staff in the entire world. Who are you adding?
To my coaching staff
Yeah.
in the entire world. There's a lot of them. But in today, Mark Few.
All right. Liquid laundry detergent or pods?
Liquid.
Where do you want to retire?
Somewhere sunny, warm, in the beach.
All right.
But
Sorry.
Probably Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5. The starting 5.
Body and Beyond Wellness is acupuncture and wellness consulting. Our peaceful oasis is nestled just outside the Washington, D.C. Beltway. Our acupuncture treatments, workshops, and other wellness offerings will have you feeling restored, renewed, and revived. A limited appointment schedule is now available, but you must call in advance to schedule. Call 301 758-7980 or visit www.thebodyandbeyond.com for more info.
Winsight Media. Winsight delivers connections and intelligence to four of the fastest growing verticals: convenience retailing, grocery businesses, restaurants, and non-commercial food service through broad and cutting-edge platforms. No company is better positioned to meet the food industry's needs than Winsight. Connect with us at www.winsightmedia.com.
Let's get social. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and then click subscribe.
This segment of Take a Teo with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is no stranger to the podcast. In fact, he's a regular here, and of course, we welcome him back for his NFL expertise. Joey T is our NFL guy with the 2021 draft coming up. He's here to talk NFL football. You may also know him from Capitol Grill, downtown D.C., ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome back Mr. Joey T. What's up, Joey?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How we doing today?
We are good in the studio. It feels like home again because my man Joey T is on the line. Gentlemen, please greet Mr. Joey T.
Joey, Steve here. Welcome back.
What's up, Steve? Hey, man, good to hear your voice, man. How's everything going?
Going well. Likewise, good to hear you from you too.
Joey, Casey here. Look, man, I'm excited to talk some Washington football. I think you might be as big a fan as I am of that team, so I cannot wait to hear you drop some knowledge on what our football team is going to do.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to get it in. I mean, I think this is going to be an awesome draft for us this year.
All right, Joey, this is a big week. The future of many NFL teams will change, as will the direction of dozens of NFL hopefuls. As we know, one pick can make all the difference in the world. So as we are here in draft week, we want to hear from you. Let's start this conversation. As a fan, tell me what you think about the NFL draft being live again instead of virtual as it was last year. I mean, talk to me about that fan experience and what you think it's like for not only you, but fans. Is it better or worse? What do you think?
Oh, man, I actually really enjoy the fact that some of those guys are going to be there live and able to walk across the stage because, I mean, the NFL draft is one of my favorite things to watch live on TV because you're actually watching people like young kids actually reach their dream, you know, like, so when you see them walk across the stage, you know that that's something they had been like envisioning their whole life. So to actually see them get to do that, I think it's actually an awesome moment. So it's not going to be a full room. A lot of the NFL prospects aren't actually going to be there. They're going to be at home with their families. I respect that decision 100%. But I think for the few that are going to make it there, I think it's a really good opportunity for them.
Thank you, Joey.
Joey, Steve here. You know, watching some of the things that on ESPN as they've been talking about the draft, and there's that one position that they talk about the most, and that's the QB. And we've got a lot of them who could get picked early this year. Who is the guy that, in your opinion, becomes the face of this draft? Which quarterback?
The face of this draft? As a whole, it's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's the surefire #1 overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has been like touted as one of the best QB prospects since Andrew Luck He's got everything. He does everything at an elite level. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He can process information. He is going to be the next face of the NFL. Besides that, there's a handful of really talented guys. There's going to be the first 3 picks of the draft are going to be quarterbacks. Zach Wilson from BYU is going number 2 overall to the Jets. I am not as high on him as obviously the New York Jets or the consensus.
I agree with you, by the way. Not to interrupt, I totally agree with you. It's Casey, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah. I mean, they take him. He could turn out to be a star. That's great for them. I hope they do. I think there's a couple other quarterbacks in this draft that have more traits that I look for, and a lot more experience. And I want to see those guys shine. Zach Wilson could be great. He's just not my guy. But I would say Justin Fields is going to be the QB3 going to the San Francisco 49ers. Those guys made an RG3 style trade to move up to the number 3 pick. Justin Fields is an absolute stud. He's got damn near everything that Trevor Lawrence has, just a little bit less experience. He's not quite elite at everything. He's actually a better ball carrier, has a little bit better athleticism. But, I mean, people knock him because they say he doesn't move past his first read too much. But I think that's more the system that he plays in college. I think once he gets to an NFL scheme, you're going to see a lot more production from his play progression. Those are my 1, 2, 3 QBs. We'll talk about the next one in a little bit.
This is Casey here, about to talk a little bit more with this draft. Like I said when I interrupted, I apologize, but I agree with you on Zach Wilson. By the way, I don't think, in watching his pro days and some of the things he did, I don't know how that guy's the number 2 pick. I'd rather take my chances on an athlete and a guy like Justin Fields and even Trey Lance. And I know we'll talk about that in a second. But local people here, can you talk a little bit about some local players in the draft? So some homegrown DMV guys that you think got a shot to maybe go in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Well, the first one is one of the Washington football team's most highest projected picks would be Christian Darsaw out of Virginia Tech. Playing in Virginia Tech, he's a local guy, and supposedly he's very high up their board. So if he actually is available at 19 overall, I think it's hard for us to pass on him. Offensive tackle is an elite position. And I think that we have a solid offensive tackle right now at left tackle, but I think upgrading that position is a must for the years to come. We are spoiled with Chris Samuel and Trent Williams all those years, so I think we need to get another one of those guys in here, especially if we're going to have quarterbacks that need that protection, either really old guys or really young guys.
Right.
All right, Joey, look, you're my guy. Over the years, I've always asked you and only you about the combines, the pro days, and what you see as future talent in the NFL. You've given me info on guys who are at colleges that no one has heard of, who have traits that no one has heard of, and somehow they either get drafted and or become big names in the NFL. Now, Trey Lance is no longer a secret, but you told me about this guy months ago before the word was out on him. Why are you so big on Trey Lance?
Man, Trey Lance was an absolute stud 2 years ago in North Dakota State. This dude just went nuts. I mean, he can do everything. He can throw the ball deep, and then he can hurt you on the ground, too. His 2019 stat line was he had 2,786 passing yards for a 66.9 completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, and a donut when it came to the interception department.
Yep.
I mean, 0 interceptions thrown that whole year. That's ridiculous to me. And then he also rushed the ball for 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, that's an amazing stat line. The reason not everybody knew about him is more because he didn't play. He only played 1 game last year because of COVID. So, in that game was he actually didn't do a whole lot, but I mean, it was also 2020. So, kind of giving him a mulligan because it was a little bit tough. So, he only has that 1 year of starting experience. So a lot of people are kind of like down on his experience, but I think he has all the tools. Now, he does need a little bit more work on his intermediate pass and more like his touch throws and even a little bit of his accuracy. But he has one of the biggest arms that in this whole draft. I mean, he can throw the ball downfield. And he can hurt you with his legs too, not only scrambling to buy time, but also picking up first down. So I think he needs to learn some fundamentals from an NFL coach. So I think he needs to sit a year. I actually think he is going to be a Washington football team member this time next week. Yeah, I think we figure out how to make it happen. I think there is an outside chance that he falls to 19 because of some of those question marks. But I also think that if he starts falling, I think we don't hesitate to trade up a little bit. I think he's our guy because we also have a veteran quarterback he can learn behind for a year. So it's a perfect scenario. We draft him, we don't put any pressure on him, and we ease him in, and then he can come out next year, hit the ground running, and then hopefully be the face of our franchise we've been searching for so long.
You know what? That would be incredible if that happened. And I'm going to respectfully, I don't know how we end up getting an athlete like that. So imagine Trey Lance comes to Washington football. And I just did this in my head because I'm crazy.
Okay.
You'd have Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Obviously, Taylor Heineke.
Right.
And if Trey Lance was there, that'd be 3 quarterbacks on your roster that played 1 AA football. They were, because Fitzpatrick's a Harvard guy. And Heineke, what was he, JMU or Old Dominion, one of those schools like that? I mean, think about how
JMU, I think, yeah.
insane that is if we'd have 3 guys that aren't in the power conferences.
You like to pick these little stats, don't you?
I just was thinking about it as Joey was talking. But if Washington gets him, I mean, that would be unbelievable because I think he's athletic enough to do a lot of different things. It doesn't work out at quarterback. You see somebody like a Logan Thomas, who was a quarterback at Virginia Tech and now is one of the best tight ends, I think, in football. But Joey, preach, man, preach. I hope Washington gets him, but I think we need a lineman first.
You got your stat. I got my stat. There have been 3 players in the modern NFL era with the name Napoleon. All 3 were drafted by the Raiders. The Raiders. Napoleon Kaufman, Napoleon McCallum, and Napoleon Harris. All drafted by the Raiders. Steve, what's your question?
What?
I'm off topic. You come up with a stupid stat. I come up with a stupid stat.
I didn't come up. It was getting out of my brain. I didn't have to Google it. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Steve. Steve's laughing at us.
Oh, God.
He lost me too, man. No worries.
Joey, I got one. We know.
What's up?
We talked about the fact that Trey Lance is no longer a secret. Give me the secret in this draft. I don't care what position he is.
I wouldn't say he's a secret per se, but a guy that I'm in one of my draft crushes, one of the guys I'm higher than consensus on, is a wide receiver named Tylan Wallace of Oklahoma State. He is actually my 4th wide receiver off this board. My ranking goes Jamar Chase is 1A, Devonta Smith is 1B, Rashad Bateman as my 2, and then I have Tylan Wallace. I think Tylan Wallace is an absolute beast. Most mocks have him going in the 3rd round or so. I think he's more. I think he's a surefire 2nd round pick. I think he's one of the few outside receivers in this class. And I think he's an absolute stud. He could even sneak his way into the back of the 1st round. I would not be surprised one bit. He's a guy that I love his game, and I think he's a little bit undervalued right now.
Thank you.
Joey, going to take a step back here and imagine you are speaking to somebody that knows nothing about the NFL and nothing about the NFL draft. In your sort of your own testimony, what makes the NFL draft not only the sort of the best show to any other pro sport drafts, but why is it so incredible and people get so fired up about it? Explain that to someone that has no idea.
You're assuming he thinks it is the best draft of all the sports. Maybe
he does.
Maybe he thinks
Joey gets me fired up when he talks about football. I want to hear.
Maybe
him
he thinks the
explain
baseball draft is the best.
I'm asking
Joey.
Joey.
which draft
No. That is an educated guess, my friend. That is 100% accurate. I think. And it's a good point. So for me, what gets me all excited about it is just the hope, right? It's that hope of finding a guy that is going to change your franchise, because football is one of those games where, one player can really make a big difference. They could be the face of the franchise. They can, even if your team's not winning, that one player can make you buy tickets and buy jerseys and get you excited. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
Chase Young, a pick for us that pick is going to inspire so many more fans in this era because he is going to become a perennial All-Pro player and a surefire Hall of Famer. And that excitement is what makes the NFL draft so much more, awesome in my opinion, than all the other drafts for the other sports. Because a lot of those other sports, the thing is there's a lot of those players are, there's a lot of those sports, there's not as many players on the field, right? Or on the court. And they just don't get the exposure, to be quite honest with you. I think in the NFL draft, they also put it on display a lot more. I think the NFL has done a better job of hyping it up, So it's like you have the combine, you have you have the NFL Network where you're watching the draft specials. I think, you start following it more and more and more. And next thing you know, the draft, they've made such a production out of that of course they make it fun. I take off work, for the first round of the NFL draft every year. I've missed like graduations and weddings, for work, but for the NFL draft, I'm taking it off. I'm sorry.
I love it. And Kurtis, that's why I asked that question, because of the passion and the way he answered it.
Okay, Coach Casey. All right.
It's like the NBA draft.
The NBA draft is better in my opinion, but that's okay. So look, I know you do your research, you watch your film, highlights, and more. Who performed well at their pro day that's working themselves onto your radar? I know you talked about sleepers, but who was nowhere on your radar, and now you're thinking this guy could get some love?
So a guy whose name I had seen, but I didn't really know a whole lot about, but is an offensive tackle by the name of Sam Cosmi out of Texas. This dude's 6'6", 314. Okay, that's good. But his pro day, he just killed it, man. Like he had a vertical jump. So as far as the pro day skills, like the vertical jump and the broad jump, those test explosion, right? So he tested with a 30-inch vertical which is in the 69th percentile. And then he had a 117-inch broad jump, which is in the 98th percentile. He also bench pressed 36 reps of 225. That's the 98th percentile. His 40-yard dash was 4.84, which
for a big man.
For offensive tackle is amazing. Sub 5.0 is, granted, pro day numbers, especially in the 40s, are generally a little skewed. But either way, like, that's still a monster number. You know what I mean? He's still probably under a 5.0 at the combine. So that's amazing for a guy 6'6", 314 pounds. Even his short shuttle and the 3-cone were both in the 98th and 94th percentile, respectively. Now, those show more of, like, that short area quickness, which as an offensive lineman you need to get out of your stance and then adapt to those speed rushes on the outside. He's a guy that I think if we don't end up going, say if we do get Trey Lance in the first round, we do need an offensive tackle. I think he's a guy we can get in the second and the third round, as a developmental guy. The reason I say that is because he has all the natural gifts. These are things you can't teach. That athleticism and size you can't teach. But he is very raw. He needs a lot of work on technique. So that's why he may fall to the second or possibly the third round. More than likely the second, but I've seen crazier things in the NFL draft.
We need Bobby Beathard or somebody come in and what was the guy that was the slobber knocker football from the Redskins back in the day?
Charlie Casserly?
No, was it Bobby Beathard?
Bob Beathard was.
I think it was Beathard, yeah.
We need him to come in and work with that young man. Steve, what's your question?
No, you're talking about Joe Bugle.
Joe Bugle.
That's who you're talking about, working with the lineman? Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace, Joe Bugle, by the way.
Yes.
I'm gonna flip.
Nasty.
I'm gonna flip Kurtis's question. Who hurt themselves on pro day?
Ooh, good question, Coach Turner.
So, tight end Jordan Brevman is a guy. Some of my constituents are really high on, especially in fantasy circles. He's a slightly smaller tight end. He's 6'3", 247. A lot of times you see a tight end being 6'5", 6'6", 250 plus. But a lot of people say he moves like a wide receiver. Some people almost say he has similar games to like a Jordan Reed, if you will. So everybody kind of like starts thinking he's going to be the next like small kind of shifty, tight end in this class. But, as I started looking at his numbers, his vertical jump was 31 inches, which is only the 22nd percentile. His broad jump, 116 inches, which is only the 51st percentile. He only benched 17 reps of 225. That's the 28th percentile. He had very mediocre to below average explosion and speed scores. And for a smaller tight end who needs to win, in his route tree and in his separation ability, I don't know if he's going to really be able to do that at the next level. He also is not a natural pass catcher. Of course he's built up, so he's got some good stats and he's scored some points, but a lot of his catches are body catches and kind of like double clutches. Like, he's not a natural hand catcher, and that's a trait I look for in my pass catchers and wide receiver or tight end, even running backs. Like, I want to see you be able to catch that ball softly. Like, I want it to be like an innate ability that you have that you can't teach. It just needs to be something that's like God given. And I don't know if he has that. So I think, and then when I see his numbers, his athletic numbers not as high as I want him to be, like especially for his size, like I knocked him down my draft board big time.
Got it.
Wow.
Joey, any particular franchise or organization that you think is lined up to draft really well in terms of, if you had to predict a program that you think is gonna kill this draft? I know that's hard to do, but just looking at the picks they have, the number of picks, the earlier rounds, can you kind of make a guesstimation on that?
I mean, well, it's hard not to say the Miami Dolphins. They have a ton of picks. They've been multiplying their picks by smart front office moves. They have 2 first rounders, a bunch of second and third rounders. They've also been drafting really well over the past few years. So there's no reason to believe that they're not going to make smart, good picks. I think they are the number one. I mean, they have the assets and they have the track record to assume that they're going to crush this draft. I mean, I think they're going to do an awesome job.
Do you think they make a move at quarterback? Sorry to double up that you brought up. Do you think Tua's still the guy?
Absolutely not. No, Tua's the guy. I think smart franchises got to give your first round quarterback a little bit of time to develop. You can't expect them to come out a year, especially a guy like Tua,
right, who
came off an injury. So, of course, he's going to take a little bit of time to fully get that trust in his body back, you know? So, good. And I'm not a huge Tua guy. Like, I don't think he's going to be, the next, like, top 3, top 5 quarterback, but he doesn't have to be. He could be a top 15, top 20 quarterback in the league and still be really good if they build a good team around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's I think he's a good leader. I think he has a lot of really good tools. I just don't know if he's elite in a lot of those physical aspects. So, but no, I don't think they're going to go quarterback one bit.
Thank you.
Joey, as always, there's never enough time. We're almost done here, almost out of time. Anything you need to shoot out there to let people know what we didn't cover in the draft? A couple things, a couple nuggets you might have that's sitting on your notes there.
No, I mean, a couple things I might, some draft picks that I might see coming. Like, I see the 4th overall pick being Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. The Atlanta Falcons hold that pick. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to trade up with them to take Kyle Pitts. And I would love it. I think I would love the Cowboys to lose assets by moving up for a skill player because they have a lot of holes on defense. Right. And I think doing that would serve us well as division rivals. Pick number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals. I wanted them to take Penei Sewell, which is the stud number 1 offensive tackle consensus to protect Joe Burrow. But after talking to my cousin's fiance, John Shaw, who's a Bengals fan, he kind of has his ear to the grindstone there on the Cincinnati draft board. He thinks they're going to go Jamar Chase, pair him with his old college quarterback, and it actually makes a lot of sense. They need another quarterback, another wide receiver on the other side. I love that fit. I think the Baltimore Ravens just traded into the end of the first round after trading away Orlando Brown, their offensive tackle. I think they are going to go wide receiver, but I think this draft has a lot of good wide receivers, but a lot of them are small, fast, shifty guys like slot types. There's not a lot of outside receivers. I think this team is going to draft either Rashad Bateman if he makes it that far, but more likely Terrace Marshall at LSU. I expect him to be a Baltimore Raven at the end of this time next week.
All right, my man Joey. Look, Joey, the draft means we're moving our way closer to the NFL announcing their schedule, off-season workouts, and everything that looks like an NFL lover's dream. Let's remind the folks of how they can connect with you on Twitter. I know it, but I need you to tell the people, how do they find you on Twitter, Joey?
Just find me at JoeyT5656.
LeVar Arrington style. Ladies and gentlemen, our NFL guy, our fantasy football 2-minute drill guy, and of course, our man at Capitol Grill, downtown D.C. And guess what? He put his daughter with me on the phone the other day, and oh my God, Paula melted. That girl is growing up. Joey, look, taking the T.O. with us today, ladies and gentlemen, Joey T.
She loves talking to you, Kurtis. You're breaking up a little bit right now, but Olivia loves saying hi.
Thank you, Joey T.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Thanks,
All right, you too.
All right, that's all right. Could we have found a better guy to get on this call than Joey T? It's like he knows things about guys who just you don't hear of. He knows 40 times. He knows combine reps.
He's ready.
This is our guy, Joey T.
Love it.
Krissy, let's have a word from our sponsors.
Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By advertising with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. In Season 1, we reached a total of more than 100,000 listeners, viewers, subscribers, and website visitors combined. Your company will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill equals exposure on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more than 15 listening platforms total. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand. At Peace Players, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer sport programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities in conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. We bridge divides between people through the game of basketball, and we develop young leaders who help to change perceptions. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
Next Level Lacrosse. Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs. We stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic, from beginning programs to rec leagues, travel clubs to summer programs. We develop the young and experienced players alike. Next Level Lacrosse has a rich tradition of running the best middle and high school lacrosse leagues in the DMV area. You will find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com or call 240-497-1460. This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
The Tamara Cusick Team. Ready, set, sold. Real estate is more than just houses. It's about people too. The Tamara Cusick Team offers an all-inclusive approach, making the home buying and selling process efficient, financially smart, and stress-free for you. From home prep-up to complimentary staging, expert counsel to an experienced and qualified team of professionals, let's chat houses. The Tamara Cusick Team isn't just a partner. They literally sold us the home where the Take a TO broadcasts from each week. Visit www.tamara4homes, that's the number 4.com, or call 301 780-4663.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. We are back with Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. It's worth repeating that in our 1 week break from the studio, Coach O'Neill's lacrosse season is back. And now, Coach, tell us, what does that look like?
I'll be honest, it's surreal to be back outside with the guys, the coaches, getting the practice plans ready, getting the film ready, getting the the team going and all the things that build up to a season. And while it's not like what we're used to, 18 regular season games and building up towards that big postseason tourney, it's something. It's something. And it hasn't come without hurdles. We can't have contact in D.C.
Right.
So my Jeep has buckets of balls in the back and the ladders and the cones and the
big brute trash can.
Yeah, I switched out. For those that don't know, we use a huge trash can on our field at school because it just holds hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of balls, and so we don't have to chase them in practice. We just keep dumping that trash can, and we do it at the end. So I was logging that thing out to where we practice in Maryland or Virginia. Got a little old of that. So you know what I got is I got the beach wagon. I got the beach wagon that you would take, and I put that in the back with all the cones and the ladders and the balls and we're handing out team gear, up in White Oak, Maryland,
right.
And then we're heading to Virginia, and then we're heading up to Howard County, and that's just is what it is. But the season is going. We had our first game coming up here canceled because of a COVID issue with the other team, and all day I'm talking to teams about just trying to find a game to fill in, trying to figure out ways to make up another game, trying to figure out ways to just keep the guys engaged. We had kind of our first team retreat this last weekend. Took them paintballing,
Right.
which was a blast. Had a big barbecue as well, Mission Barbecue, shout out. And we had a retired Navy SEAL come speak to the team about their energy, their effort. And I think that was a good building moment. So it's a lot, Kurtis. It's a lot of moving. It's a lot of moving parts. But what hasn't changed is the love that the kids have for the game, their desire to want to be good, and their desire to want to please the coaches and play for each other. And the practices they battle, baby. They get after it.
Here's a question, though. Let's step a tier below the obvious. No contact in D.C. What's the biggest change? Having to be mobile with all the equipment in different locations, or what's that? What slapped you in the face after like a day or two? You're like, wow, that's right. We're not on our field, so all these moving parts have to go together.
I think it was the actual date we started. We're used to starting our season at the end of February or March and having that time to prepare and scrimmages and knowing what our exact schedule was. 3 scrimmages we were having, the 18 games, the travel, and all this. Look, we could go to any field, and we've done it before. In 2015 and another season, we didn't have a home field, so we had to travel, and I've done that part. I think it's the later start. I think the hardest part was seeing other counties and other schools playing earlier and going earlier, and
you could talk about that, Coach Turner.
It's the same thing that he saw. And so that was difficult too to meet the expectations of the kids and the parents, and it was hard to have tryouts with all these kids working their tails off to make this team, and then boom, fast forward, who are we going to scrimmage? Here comes a call from a school up in Baltimore. We were shut down because of Corona, so we had 10 days off. Can you scrimmage us tomorrow? Sure, let's make it happen. I mean,
right.
It's just being
It's 7 o'clock
being
in the
able
evening.
to adjust. Tell us where, we'll be there, and also the biggest adjustment too. And I haven't told the kids this as well. While they were preparing and working out a lot on their own in the off season, we had things going on Zooms and workouts and things, but. That buildup and the lifting and the conditioning we do leading up was not the same. And so I get real worried as hard as we go, as hard as we play and practice, the injuries scare me a little bit too, because the kids are so used to being in that weight room, being that strength that they have. And so far so good, but just a lot of twists and turns. And our team motto has been every time we get there is today. It's today. That's all we can control is today. It's
Right.
not tomorrow. It's not the next week. It's just today. Focus on today because at any moment, boom, it could flip.
Can we talk Purple Eagles basketball, sir?
Let's go, baby.
What you got going on over there, Coach Turner? You got 2 teams. Did you do 2 or 3 teams? I'm sorry.
We did 2 teams this year. Just 2 varsity teams.
All right, so you had your 2 teams. You went through the season. Something's better than nothing. I know we always want a little bit more, but where are you in terms of positioning your young men for the months ahead? You said one of the things I remember you saying, you only had 2 seniors, so you felt fortunate about that in terms of, opportunities that were missed for film and games and all of that. Where are we now? Coach, I'm asking this for the first time. I don't know the answer. Are we moving our attention to the club teams they're going to play, and then you take a step back? I don't know. How does all of that work?
Well, that is what is going on currently. Okay. Those kids are playing with their club teams. Last few weekends, there's been some, AAU events where these kids are having an opportunity to get out and really get film, get write-ups because there's a lot of the scouting services are out there,
there you go.
out there watching them. They're streaming these games, so coaches who want to, purchase the film can get it and be able to see some kids. I still hear it from the coaches that, they want to put eyes. They want to put live eyes on these young men. It's hard to tell sizes on the camera. Those attributes that they want for their players. It's tougher to read when you're watching it on film and versus having live eyes. But then the other part is just really trying to convince certainly the kids who are returning players to the program that played in varsity, the year prior to this last year with their recruitment. And that's been tough. These college coaches right now are in the portal. I mean, there's 1,500 plus kids sitting in the portal trying to find a new home, and daily you're seeing people move into the portal, move out of the portal, picking new schools. And, we did the math. If you did 1,500 kids could fill 150 rosters, like naked rosters,
right? With no
kids,
no returns.
So we know that every roster in the country is not
right.
Is not naked,
not void of players.
And so there's going to be a lot of kids without homes when this thing kind of slows down, and then the hopes are that the kids, coming back for the extra year, how that's going to change the trajectory for the kids in the class of 2022 and beyond is a big concern for me because I have a lot of them in that class and trying to help them figure out and navigating their families to be patient because normally you'd be trying to make some decisions or getting on some campuses. Yeah. None of this is happening right now.
Okay.
I mean, you hear these guys who've talked about kids in the 21 that did commit and were able to be recruited, unlike a lot of kids who aren't having that opportunity or just sitting there waiting. They've selected schools without ever touching the campus. Like, they don't even know what it's like, what a day in life is like there. They haven't done any of that.
Just taking it.
And they're just taking it. And it's, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I'm battling it as not just as a coach, I'm battling it as a dad with my own child and how that looks and what that looks like. And then, what sucks right now is having to rely on club coaches who
to advocate,
to not just advocate, give opportunity.
Okay.
Probably even more than advocate right now. Give opportunity so kids can get film, kids can be seen playing against, elite level competition, and there are kids who aren't getting that also. So basketball, starting from college basketball down to high school, is a freaking mess right now.
Not bad.
And I will keep saying it. Shame on the NCAA. They've got to figure this out quickly because they're hurting. They're hurting kids and their opportunities. Kids who've worked hard all their lives to get to this moment, and it's been shitted on. It's the only way I can describe it. They're getting shitted on right now, and it sucks.
Here's my question. If we can look at a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow to the fan and people who want to watch this, are we looking at some really good basketball coming up? Because there's so many kids in the portal. There's a lot of changes. Are we looking at a better brand of basketball?
No, how can it be?
Okay.
As I've said, the theme song to the portal and to high school recruiting right now, Chris Brown. These, they ain't loyal. There's no loyalty in the game anymore.
Okay.
I mean, you're taking kids out of a portal who are going to come be a part of your program for a year for you to try to win. Where's the
continuity?
Where's the camaraderie?
Yeah.
Where's the continuity?
Right.
Where's the loyalty? Right. And I think it goes on both ends. There's no loyalty from the kids who go to places and don't fight through adversity and figure out how to get out of it. And then there's coaches who are saying, I got to save my job, so I don't give a damn. I'm X girl to the next girl, and I'm going to keep moving on so I can get a check. Right. So to me, you're going to lose that love for the brand.
Okay.
You're going to have a guy who transfers to
XYZ
College, who graduates from there because he made it a one stop.
Right.
But that's not his alma mater anymore. I don't care if he graduates from
right. It's not.
Right. There's no love. It's just a stop to hopefully get to the next thing.
So he's at 1-2-3 University for 3 years, but the portal opens up. There's a shot for him to go to XYZ. And
my bigger problem is I can accept the kid who's having potentially a tough time or just sees there's not a way for me, and they're bringing somebody in over me. But to watch kids who are 20-plus point scorers, face of programs, going to test their way into the portal because let me see what else is out there for me.
Right.
Come on,
that's
man.
not for you.
It's BS. And the adults, you are the problem. Right. You're the problem because they tell these kids, they don't believe in you and they don't
whatever they can do.
When are we going to teach our kids to stop running and find a way to fight through adversity?
Amen.
One of my favorite, I may have said it on this podcast, in order to get to something, you got to go through something. These kids are circumventing the going through something to be able to appreciate it on the back end, it sounds like. Wow. All right. Well, that's that segment. We're coming right back with our weekly sports wrap-up. DJ Krissy, let's do it.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray P. Cruz, Mortgages Intelligently. Connect with us socially. On Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast. On Twitter at TurnOn Podcast. On YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Be sure to listen now at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. If you're looking to increase sales and gain exposure, advertising opportunities are available. Contact our producer, Kurtis Cross, today. Email turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com to get started.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Current social distancing does not allow for event gatherings in the traditional sense. When it's time to plan your bar or bat mitzvah, office party, Sweet 16, or any event, we've got your party solution. Dynamic DJ Entertainment is your virtual event experts. Our virtual events division has perfected an entertainment experience like none other. We bring the celebration to you. Contact us for virtual trivia, office parties, nightclub nights, or any event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment is your virtual event solution. Visit www.mapdja.com or call 301-942-4500.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. This week's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Now, our weekly sports wrap-up. Gentlemen, we are now less than 1 month away from the 2021 NBA playoffs. Injuries are starting to mount up. We've got a shorter schedule than usual, but we also have a compressed time frame for the season as the NBA moves to get back to the traditional, calendar and season. Your thoughts on the teams that we should look out for as we spiral into the NBA postseason. Coach O'Neill. Usually he takes the NBA first, but I came your way. I threw you a curveball like DeGrom did with 15 strikeouts the other night in the MLB, but we'll talk about that later.
That's the Mets. They start out. We will talk about that.
We're in first place.
Hey.
Took 2 out of 3 from the Nats, by the way,
Wizards.
Okay.
Wizards, 9 straight. I heard a stat. It's been...
You with these stats. All right, go ahead. What's your stat?
30-some years since the Wiz have won 9. I mean, come on. something is happening here. I see them jump into the 10 spot. Now, granted, you want to be in the 8 spot. Old school NBA playoffs, they take the 8, but they're going to be the playing game. I wouldn't want to play them right now, the way they're playing in a 5-game series. I love the way
you're not
play.
an NBA player, so no, you wouldn't want to play them right now.
I'm not an NBA player.
Okay. All right.
I bet if you and I went out there and shot a couple shots.
What's going to happen?
Oh.
Well, bring it then.
Let's go.
Ain't nothing but space and opportunity.
Let's go.
Yeah, but you want
Turn the car lights on. Let's go.
You want the intermediate 27.5 ball because your hands are too small? Is that
No,
what you
man.
want?
Don't even mess. Coach Turner's looking at his phone right now. So he's checking out the standings. He's looking at stuff. Right now, look, Sixers, you're right about the injuries. Sixers, Nets, Bucks in the East. I'm shocked by the Knicks even being a 4 seed.
Like, right?
Shocked.
Like Thibodeau's doing some things. He gave them the day off the other day. He gave them the day off. That's Tibbs who doesn't do that.
And in the Western Conference, thinking Jazz, thinking, Clip, your Lake.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Healthy. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell who the clear-cut top team that's.
It absolutely is.
It's absolutely possible. And I think that's what makes this exciting. But to my local Wizards fans, they're doing some things, man. Coach Turner.
The Wizards are looking good. They're understaffed. They look good. The Celtics are going the wrong way. Very happy with the Sixers. The Knicks, wow, surprise.
Suns are another one too.
Suns, yes. Suns, they lost earlier to the Nets today. Brooklyn does not scare me, and there's a lot of big games that they can't win. They got to be all healthy and get that continuity. Coach Turner, what say you?
It's going to be an interesting playoffs.
What? Who are you telling?
You even said the Celtics go the wrong way. They're 7-3 in the last 10.
Right.
The guys at the top are the ones that worry me the most.
I agree.
Sixers, Bucks, 5-5 in the last 10 games.
All right. Bucks aren't playing well right now.
I tell the team, keep sleeping on the LA team.
Clips.
I
ain't worried about them. They're little brothers always.
Yeah, you can say that, but they're third, 9-1.
Hey, they're 9-1 last
I think
10.
the key for the playoffs this year is just going to come down to matchups.
Okay. What about health?
Health is always going to be certainly a major key. I mean, your Lake Show's supposed to run it back. They can't get healthy. They can't run it back.
We can't get healthy right now.
How's John Wall feeling down in Houston right now? How's OKC? They're struggling still.
Yeah.
I just think this is going to be the weirdest,
right?
One of the weirdest playoffs,
right,
of all time.
And Golden State is not half bad either.
No, I mean, hey, Steph's having fun again.
Yeah, he is. I'll tell you this.
Hey, but he got cold in Washington. I mean, we were talking at the last time we had our Take It to You about Steph and how great. I mean, he's putting up ungodly.
Like 30 points, like 10
video
games
game stuff.
Right, absolutely.
Video game stuff and shooting from all over the place.
Right.
I mean, he was at 45% from 3-point. I mean,
he lit his brother up the other night too.
Yeah,
several 3 or 4 games ago, he lit his brother up.
I think there was a lot of dinner.
Bring it on,
a lot
NBA
of dinner
playoffs.
bets on the
right,
table.
absolutely.
Bring it
But
on.
I think the NBA playoffs will be fun. Like I said, you know me, new faces. So.
All right, now there's going to be a lot going on. I'm glad to see that we've got teams. By the way, I was talking to an NBA guy yesterday who's really into it, and he was struggling actually to come up with names of guys for MVP. I'm looking at Chris Paul and Joel Embiid right now. Those are the only two I'm looking at right now. LeBron's always in the conversation. He's been hurt. Anthony Davis has been hurt. James Harden has been hurt.
Joker.
That's one thing he said. I'm looking at.
I like Joker.
Really?
Yes.
Over Embiid.
Yes.
Over Chris Paul. Chris Paul is killing it right now. And
my next guy,
right.
Dame Lillard. The hell with all of them.
Dame Lillard's hurt though.
I don't care.
Well, how is the NBA? How are the writers going to vote though? You think it's Joker's year?
They write with who slips.
I'm not going for
I agree with
conspiracy.
you, Chris
Keep it
Paul,
real.
to look and see what that organization is doing.
They did lose today, but still, overall,
They're 42-18.
right.
Nobody expected that.
And Chris Paul is plus 35, right? Is he plus 35?
I don't know.
It's a good question.
But when he stays healthy, you see what he can do. And again, I've never been huge on Chris Paul.
And his acting is
just because I
amazing.
don't watch much. I watch West
Nobody
Coast stuff,
caught
blah, blah, blah. But Chris Paul has done his job out there to lead that team like they need a veteran to lead. He's at probably 8 or 9 assists per game. His turnovers are always going to, he had one game, I think it was like a 4-to-1, assist to turnover ratio, which is, you want 3-to-1, right? He's 35. He'll be 36 in May. Yeah, he's undersized at 6 feet. I love what he's doing for that team. I love what he did for OKC.
Yes.
Even though he didn't want to be there, he was leading them, and they went in the right direction with the playoffs and did some things we didn't think they should do. What was that, last season? He did well with them. So there's the NBA. Look, it's early yet, but what are your MLB thoughts, gentlemen, as we are now into the 2021 season? DeGrom, 15 strikeouts, 2 hits the other night, and he had 2 RBI. Go ahead.
That's fine.
Mets in first place.
Young season.
Braves in last place.
Nobody in the NL East is knocking it out of the park right now. They're all playing around 500, sub 500 ball at the moment.
We're over 500 by 1 game.
By 1 game. So,
and we took 3 out of 3 from your Nationals.
I stay with my comment. Nobody's knocking.
How many runs
did
y'all score this weekend?
Listen, man.
I'm just asking. It's just
It's
a question.
April.
It's a sports show, right?
It's April.
It's damn near May.
1986 was a long time ago.
Wow. Are you going there?
I am.
We've won more than one. We won in 69 and 86.
Okay. Hey, well,
before you were born, sir.
2005 is when this organization. LA Dodgers are the team.
They
right
were the
now.
Montreal Expos first.
The LA Dodgers are scaring me. But you know what? My Nationals went out there in 2019, beat them in Game 5.
Wow,
Granted,
old stuff.
A lot has changed. Love seeing the Yankees be under 500
right?
Early in the season. That'll change. You're looking at the Red Sox. Oakland does what they do. They're a solid regular season team. Can they get it done in the postseason? We are a lot of Take a TO episodes before this thing.
Yeah, we are.
Before we are late
We're
summer.
well into season
watching
3.
this go, but I think MLB's gone off without much of a huge hitch. A couple games, especially with the Nationals early in the season. But yes, Jacob DeGrom. Oh my goodness, is that guy good?
Hold up, man. You see, I don't pay attention to the MLB standings.
Okay.
But you're hyping the Mets at a damn near 500.
They are.
I just said that.
I
They're
already
9-8.
said it.
I said they're 1 game over.
The
We
Nats
said
are
that.
2 games back of the Mets.
Go Mets! Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. I saw you side-eyeing Mrs. Met too, by the way. I think I didn't see that.
Go Dodgers.
He is a Dodgers fan, and he will claim that. He has always claimed that. All right, let's move on. Still at number 1. UMD squeaked out a win over Hopkins yesterday in college lacrosse with their season complete. Awaiting the Big Ten playoffs, what says Coach O'Neill in terms of where the postseason for Division I lacrosse is headed, sir? We got a Big Ten tournament coming up. We got a play-in game, right?
Yeah, you've got a lot of conference tournaments getting ready to go. They're going to have to figure out a few things because some teams have just started to play, but you're going to have all the conference tournaments coming up here soon. Maryland is still number 1. They did survive a scare.
Right.
They were still going to be
with one of your former goalies, right?
That's right. They were still going to be the 1 seed no matter what. So it's one of those games you want to go in. It's a rivalry game with Hopkins. But shout out to my boy Timmy Marcial, class of 2019, was an All-American goalie for us. Got some major action and quite frankly kept Hopkins in that game to even be a 1-goal game.
It wasn't a decided game like early. I mean, it was coming down to it.
Oh, it was coming down the wire. Everyone's saying upset brewing. But as Coach Tillman said, good teams need those scares. They need to wake up. They need to learn how to play in those situations where they're not up 5 or 6, late in the game, and they got to come back. So, kudos to Maryland. Big Ten tournament starts next weekend. They'll start with a playing game. Then you have your semis. But I'll tell you what, this ACC tournament is going to be unbelievable.
What? Duke, North Carolina? What?
Now, Duke has been the cardiac kids of all of lacrosse.
All
They're
kinds of
winning
overtime
game after overtime game. But then you go see Syracuse go beat somebody in Notre Dame the other day. You see Carolina come back and beat up on somebody. Virginia's still, a legit threat. So ACC, I think you got about at least 2 or 3 Final Four teams in that group. I think Maryland's one of them, and then we'll see. We'll see about the rest. Don't sleep. Only other undefeated team. I've said it before. Lehigh Mountain Hawks, baby.
The Mountain Hawks.
Lehigh Mountain
Hawks.
Hawks.
Keep coming back to them.
They're coming. Engineers to those old school fields.
All right. University of Maryland men have 2 Tewaaraton finalists, Jared Bernhardt and Logan Wisnauskas. University of Maryland women have 2 Tewaaraton finalists, Lizzie Colson and Grace Griffin. All right.
Bernhardt's going to win it.
You've been talking about him.
I couldn't tell you with the ladies, but the UMD women are phenomenal.
Yeah, I think they're just actually they struggled. They're 8-5, maybe 7-5. I can't remember.
But year in and year out, they're
part of the
ready to
conversation.
go.
Yeah.
And again, go back to the ACC, Maryland, and Big Ten, but the ACC is locked and loaded as well. But go ahead.
Rapid fire. Browns lock in Baker Mayfield at $18 million. They take that extension to the 2022 season.
Oh, that's Manziel. My bad. Sorry.
You going back? Are you really going back to season 1, episode 1 or 2? Really? Is that what you're doing?
Money Baker.
Baker Mayfield. What do you think? Is he? I mean, that was an option.
He's showing himself. So
all right,
go get that money while you can. Go get it.
All right, NHL playoff picture, gentlemen.
Woo! Well, we know we're pulling for our hometown team, but it's
Vegas clinched, right?
Vegas is going to be tough team to knock off in the West. But again, they've got a weird system. So we talk about Maryland lacrosse just playing Big Ten.
Right.
When they get to the NCAA tournament, they're going to see what some of these other non-conference schools for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to NHL, just to get out of your region, your pod or whatever it is, those jokers are going to have good scouts, like off the top scouts, and to play a 7-game series against a team you've already played 12 times.
Right.
Anything can happen. But yes, Vegas is the best in the West. Our division here with, I think it's Pittsburgh is on fire, the Islanders are on fire, the Bruins are tough, and there's anything can happen in the NFL and NHL. See, I did it too.
There you
NHL
go.
playoff picture.
I got something for you. Just in, Kim Mulkey leaves Baylor to take over the LSU. Well, she's from Louisiana. She played for Louisiana Tech. That loot. Their coach, I mean, this is less than 24 hours. LSU's coach stepped down yesterday. And now Kim Mulkey, she's taking over the LSU women's program. They haven't made the NCAA tournament in the past 10 years. What's Mulkey going to do for them?
Make some money.
She gonna make some money for herself,
right?
And then she gonna get them to the tournament before it's all said and done.
Here's the problem: they play in Tennessee's division now. That's what I'm worried about.
That means
because I'm a volunteer.
She's gonna move them to the top.
That's my problem.
She gets it done, so it's gonna be nice to watch. Good to see. How about you didn't have this? I'm gonna add to the rapid.
Please.
So, if you've seen some of the changes in men's college basketball,
I've not paid as much attention. Tell me, school me.
Kentucky, one of their top dogs, goes and gets a head job. Look to bring back one of their old top dogs, Coach Antigua, from Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois doubles down yesterday.
Okay.
$1 million to stay as the assistant coach.
Wow.
I'm in the wrong goddamn business.
Oh, you're in the right business. It's the wrong level. Hey, another rapid fire too. Got to drop it there. In international news, international football, soccer.
Is it even going to happen?
I think they're going to find a way to put a stop to it. I don't want it to happen.
You think it's ruffled some feathers?
Yeah.
We're talking NFL draft tonight.
FIFA is serious.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. I hope it doesn't happen.
They are
but
stealing from the poor and giving to the rich, according to what 90 million people probably think.
Okay.
With those big hitters.
I'm not a soccer guy, so I got to trust y'all on that. Danny Manning is in College Park now.
Yes, sir.
Danny Manning's in College Park. He's a local guy too, right?
Let's go.
No, he's back with his
college roommate.
His college teammate.
Yeah, college teammate. All right, DJ Krissy, let's hear from our advertisers. We invite your comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, Peace Players International. Our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness. The final word is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back, and now it's time for our final words, some thanks, and of course, our weekly quote this week offered by Coach O'Neill. Let me give one more shout out to Ray Cruz. We called him this week so we could refinance one of our homes, and we loved what he's working with us on. And another shout out, thanks Joey T for coming out and talking NFL.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys got some good nuggets from that. This guy is off the charts. He does his work. I know he's got spreadsheets. He's got Venn diagrams. He's got, all the stuff going on. Joey T, big shout out to you. And thank you so much, sir. We invite you to become a friend of the program. To do so, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Become a Friend. We are now seeking advertisers for Season 3. In Season 1, we delivered more than 100,000 viewers. We're looking to do that in Season 2. Now is the time to secure your placement in front of our audience each week. Become a partner, sponsor, or donor today for as little as $25 per episode. Advertising opportunities include on-air commercials, social media inclusion, YouTube exposure, and more. You can talk to our advertisers. They're getting a lot of love from the folks who listen and watch our show. Look, you can reserve your spot now. No payments are due until summer. I mean, it's going to be hot outside before we get an email to you saying, hey, it's time to pay up. So look, secure your spot now. They will sell out, and we won't talk to you again until July about money. Connect with us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and via all podcast platforms to get the episode drop alerts. That means when we drop an episode, you get dinged to your phone. You know when we're doing something over here. All right, we encourage you to join the conversation, so write to us with your questions and comments at turneroneillpodcast@gmail.com. Before we sign off, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We want you to spread the word, so do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, tell a friend, and we ask that you help us grow our community. DJ Krissy, thank you very much, young lady.
Thank you,
we'll see you again next week. How you feeling?
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I plan on it.
so.
I plan on seeing you tomorrow, but yes, for the episode next week as well, we want to see you. So thanks for that, DJ Krissy. You two gentlemen, Coach Turner and Coach O'Neill, and of course, Paula, thanks to our donors, sponsors, and partners. We encourage our audience to support those who support us. Coach Turner, any final thoughts?
Just excited. Actually excited about Thursday's draft.
Yeah.
Joey's
got
got
me
me wanting to look at some things that he talked about, and certainly have always want to see what my hometown team's going to do.
Absolutely.
And just excited to be back in here with you guys, man.
All right. And Krissy had Dove chocolate for us this week.
Yes, she did.
So, Krissy, you on the hook. What is it going to be next week? Coach O'Neill,
Hey,
your final word and your quote, sir.
final word. Krissy, great to see you. Kurtis, good to see you. Steve, good to see you too, buddy. I see you every day. Excited to be back in, and thank you for that week off. It was very much needed to get our season rocking and rolling and organized. So my quote tonight: we will never win the Olympics of humanity racing for perfection, but we can walk together in hope, celebrating that we are loved in our brokenness, helping each other, growing in trust, living in thanksgiving, learning to forgive, opening up to others and welcoming them, and striving to bring peace and hope to the world. Boom.
DJ Krissy, pull the plug.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our advertisers. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. Our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness, and Justin O'Neill. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without the written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and/or information being used on the podcast. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more than 15 podcast platforms in total. You can also view Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episode drops. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Advertising opportunities are available.